So, over half a score ago, LEGO was like, hey, we need something new and fresh to last us for a kick and get us the ka-chinga dinga. Beyblade is a thing, right? How about some spinning Legos? And Tommy Andreessen came in and was like, yo, how about some ninjas? Cause those are cool now too. And thus, a few waves of our favorite toy came in a fun new theme, along with an advertisement lasting 2 seasons. Except now it's 10 years later and there is so much more. Now, when you have a cartoon that's been around for 13 seasons, it's bound to have gained a following, a fan base. Fans who watched the show as little kids and kept up with it. Newcomers who got into the show late because they remember it existing when they were little. People who have never heard of it suddenly discovering it and somehow getting into it. Though Ninjago is not the pinnacle of perfection when it comes to cartoons, obviously, its storytelling, characters, and lore surprisingly holds up enough to keep a steady fan base going strong. Now, since it's been 10 years, I needed to celebrate with something, and the best thing I could think of was this fun phenomenon of fans of a LEGO show, some of whom have stuck around for years. Who are they, and why are they here? So many questions that I, in fact, had answered by many people. Why, yes, I interviewed 6 Ninjago fans to get the deep dive on the variety that is possible with these answers. But let me go first, and explain to you why I am also a devoted fan of a 13-season advertisement. My name is Vines, and I'm almost an adult, so that should count, I think. I got into Ninjago because I saw the Warner Brothers movie when it came out after realizing that I remembered that Ninjago existed. After watching it, I just watched the entire show as well and have also been keeping up with it. I interact a lot with other fans in this community, and I make a lot of fan works to show my appreciation. I hope the show will continue to blossom and more things will come out of it like the movie, other than just this 3D show. Now that you have the scoop on the interviewer, let's dive into these lovely guests' stories.
Howdy, I am Arcade Warlock, or Arcade for short.
Hi, I'm Corey. I'm at That Was Anticlimactic on Tumblr. I'm going to be 20 later this month.
Hi, my name's Abby. I'm 17, and I've been watching Ninjago since 2011, so since the beginning.
I'm Coffee. I'm here. I do art, usually, yeah. I like to think I can write. I can't.
My name is Isabella, and I have been a fan of Ninjago for 8 years now. It's about 9, and it hasn't stopped, unfortunately / fortunately.
I'm Ellie. I'm 15. I did learn how to read, but I forgot. I'm an art major. I like Ninjago.
How did you get into Ninjago?
I've known about it since its inception back in 2010, 2011-ish, but I didn't get into it until around late 2014, around the time that Rebooted was coming out. My siblings really wanted to start watching Ninjago. So then I watched Ninjago. I immediately fell in love with it, like, admittedly it was as soon as I saw Jay, but that's a whole other thing.
I remember this very vividly, and I don't know why. But I was in 5th grade. We were like staying in a hotel, and it was night, and I was really bored, so I was flipping through the TV. And the only thing I saw that like cartoon, like a 5th grader would watch, was this Lego show. And I was like, you know what, let's just watch it. And it was season 1, episode 6, The Snake King. I remember that so vividly. And that's the only episode I saw, because then I switched to like the adult stuff. And I was very intrigued. I just remember really loving Cole because I thought his hair was really cool. I immediately went and looked up this show called Ninjago, and I found it, and I've been hooked ever since.
I can actually remember like the day and everything. So I was 7, and I was doing karate at the time, so Ninjago was right up my alley. And we were in a pizza parlor, me and my family, and look up at the screen, they're playing Ninjago, and I just immediately fell in love with Jay, especially. I was just really attracted to the family dynamic, and it was just cool at the time, so was really hooked on it from the beginning.
Join Ninjago, the TV show, in like I think 2012, because I was flipping through TV looking for a specific cartoon, and I heard this really, really cool music, and I went back and there were some Legos fighting. It's like, hey, this is episode 24, the season finale of season 2. It didn't make any sense. And I was like, oh, there's a dragon, that's his dad, that's lovely. And I realized that the show was pretty chaotic. I don't regret finding it that way, I think it's funny.
My brother's friend introduced us to it, so I decided to tune in, and I really enjoyed it. It was something that really caught my attention, and I somehow got my friends into it a few months later, and then we began our own little community.
I remember watching it with my siblings, and I really liked it back then, and I just forgot about it so like last. I was like, hey, Ninjago was a thing. I wonder what people have been doing with that. So I looked it up, and I found a couple of really great fanfics. Specifically, if you know Meet Again by Northpen, I read it and I was like, oh my god. And another one, Flicker by Lloyd Skywalker. Those two specifically, but also others, got me to think, okay, this seems interesting, I'll check out the series. So I just sat down and I binged the series while I was working on art assignments my first semester in college. And now I'm a Ninjago fan.
What is your favorite part about Ninjago?
I honestly just really like the fact that it's just trying to tell a good story. It's the classic story between good and evil, and it doesn't really care how it does it exactly. It's got the great, likable characters, the teamwork aspect is amazing, awesome villains, very intriguing plot premises, and they execute it really well. So just I guess I would have to say the writing is the main thing I like about the show, not to mention their character designs are super cool.
I think my favorite part about Ninjago would be the characters. I'm a very big fan of character analysis. I'm an English ed major, so if that means anything, I love character and I love analysis. And I think while the characters do have their out-of-character moments, there are a lot of very, very good character moments for a lot of the main characters and the background characters. It was just really cool because a lot of the fans I've met on Tumblr have been watching since very early on as well, and so we've been growing up with Ninjago and with these characters. They're still dumb now, but they're smarter dumb. They've learned. And I just watched season 13, and seeing season 13, it was oh my gosh, they've grown up so much, and it's such a cool thing to experience. They're all Legos, so they're all the same height, and they're all yellow, and so a lot of the fans are able to make them into what they want. A lot of people have different, headcanon different races, different sexualities. I headcanon Jay has Tourette's. It's not canon, but I can make it canon because Ninjago gives you the opportunity to make it to make it canon. It's just such a really cool thing, and you don't really get that in a lot of fandoms. I love the characters. There's so much going on with them.
Probably the family dynamic. I don't know, when I was younger, I had a really hard time making friends, and I didn't have any close friend groups. And it was just really special to watch these group of kids come together, and they had no one at first. And their family became each other. And I don't know, that really inspired me, and seeing how the characters grow and change gave me a lot of confidence, and inspired me to be a little better person myself and make a difference in the world.
I say Boyd and Jay. Is that a thing? There's there's characters. I've got a thing for character design, so that caught my eye immediately. The East Asian inspiration and everything, that's also one of my hyperfixations, if you will. And, the plot, usually the plot is very nice.
My favorite part is probably the characters themselves, their personalities. I like their chemistry together, and I'm sort of also referring to the voice actors as well. They have really a really good connection with one another.
There's a lot about the show that I really like, but I've never had this easy of a time figuring out what goes on in a character's head. Ninjago it can be pretty hit or miss sometimes. But one thing that I think that they've always done very well is how they write their characters. There's very few characters, villainous or otherwise, heroic or whatever, that I like most of them. They're very well done in my opinion.
What future hopes do you have for the series?
Honestly, I guess finding out more about the early elemental masters, seeing more about the first generation, I suppose. That's like a big thing. Seeing what they're gonna do, like exploring like the ninja's parents or something. Which they've done excellently with talking about Lily in season 13 and like all of that stuff. But like Ray and Maya, Jay's mom, that kind of thing, that would just be super cool. So that's my hope. Like they'll talk more about that kind of stuff.
My first instinct, like the first thing I think of when I hear that question is I just hope they keep making more and more seasons just so when people say, oh, Ninjago, and I'm like, yeah, season 13 just came out, and they're like, 13? Shouldn't that show have been like 2 seasons? I'm like, no, there's gotta be more. I think something I would really like to see is more interaction between characters we don't get interactions with a lot. How in season 13 we had more Kai and Zane interaction, which we don't really get a lot of, and I remember on Tumblr everyone was so stoked. I was so excited because we were like, oh my gosh, it's the opposite ship. It doesn't have to be opposite, but like we were like, oh my gosh, they're interacting with each other, and we don't get that a lot. Or like all of the ninja individually with Lloyd, or with Nia, or with Pixel, or them together. So we don't kind of have to just assume, oh, this is how Cole and Lloyd would interact together one-on-one in this kind of situation.
I was thinking about this one because it's like, it's hard to say like what the future holds for Ninjago just because of how long it is already. It's such an enormous universe and like a movie and all that. So what I personally hope for the series is that we have a good conclusion, like maybe in the far future, but you know, so we have a good story that I can pass on to my kids, or you know, I can share with the next generation, and it's something that we can enjoy together. And you know, who knows?
I hope that I can get like a structure to the series. That's what I want, because the rules keep changing and I don't like it. Season 1, they were like, hey, Garmadon is evil because of an evil snake, right? And that's what we got used to. And then in season 8, they go, never mind, he was always gonna be evil, get over it. But he's still a good person for whatever reason, and then they just keep changing bits of the lore. The whole Oni dragon thing I thought was useless and unnecessary. And the, like, I don't know, sometimes it's just so random, so all I want is some consistency.
I really do think that we should have a musical episode. Tommy Andreasen sort of teased it a couple months ago. That was something I was interested in very much. And then when Brent said I want to rap, all I could think about was that would be amazing. Focusing on some of the side characters like Nelson and maybe Dareth a little bit, maybe Ronan. It'd be cool if we just got some filler episode where they got their time to shine.
It would be great if the writers could write. It'd be great if actions could have consequences, I guess. Like season 8, 9, I felt like those were very good at showing the consequences of previous actions. I felt like that was a great way to keep the story moving. It was like something would happen and the writers would think, okay, what were the consequences? And it kind of feels like that hasn't been the case as much in the most recent season. Is Garmadon coming back? Are they ever going to acknowledge season 6? Please? I want consequences. It's fun to play with consequences.
So, what have we learned? Well, Ninjago has its lovely parts as well as much room for potential. There's a lot that the fans want to see, and a lot that they already adore. Ninjago has been in the hearts of people from the very beginning, and has also only been a part of fans' lives for a little while, but still has a special place there nonetheless. It's a huge part of a ton of fans' lives. The people I reached out to for this video are just a tiny bunch out of a huge selection of Ninjago lovers. I definitely want to highlight how out of the norm it may seem for a bunch of teenaged and adult human beings to have such a connection to a LEGO show. It certainly has its unique experiences. I mean, what's worse than having an extremely elongated advertisement as your favorite interest? But if you really look at it, it has its connections and similarities to being a part of any other community. The future holds a lot for Ninjago. As Tommy Andreasen said, as long as business goes well, the show will too. And I think that the toy's popularity isn't going to deplete anytime soon. So, what will become of this group of growing fans? What will the show and community have in store for the next 10 years? I guess we will have to wait and see.
If you're not watching Ninjago, watch it already. Just get on it. It's a really good show.
Thank you to the voice actors because we love you very much. Huge inspirations to us, especially aspiring actors and voice actors. We love you.
Watch our Bridge series. It's funny.
Yes, definitely promote that.
Ninjago's great. Ninjago's fun. I'm very glad that this is something that I got back into after years and years of thinking about it. I haven't been in the Ninjago fandom for very long, like part of it for very long. But I hope to keep being an active part of it. It's been great. Ninjago, I love this fandom. It's a good time.
It's a really great show, I think. It's one of the shows that can be going through middle school, which, as we all know, is probably the worst time of a person's life. And honestly, it was one of the things that got me into drawing, and why I'm now pursuing a career in like art and graphic design. And I'm really thankful for the show that it gave me inspiration for what I now love and hope to do.
Ninjago's just been a really huge part of my life, and I didn't think it would be. Like, watching it in 5th grade and being a sophomore in college, and I feel very blessed to have been in this fandom for as long as I have been, to be able to write my own stuff and attempt to draw my own stuff and interact with the people I've interacted with. It's been such a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.